Yeah.
How many times are you all following up? Because mine's are going out, and I see that thing coming through that they're billing me every time it goes out. And I'm like,
I stop at 8. So, and
We
that's
do-
more.
We do 12.
You're 12.
Every
so
30 days,
It
yeah.
depends. We do, if it's a hot market, we'll do 12. If it's not a hot market, just based off of what we've seen people are contacting us back with. People contact back quicker with Deal Machine because it's a picture of their
They're
house.
like, were you in front of my house? Like, wait, how'd you get a picture? They'll call you just for that.
So other markets will do 6 to 8 if it's not like a Boston market or a Charlotte market. Depending on the market is how many times we mail to them. But we've also seen where we've mailed to someone and it just happened about 12 times. And then we had stopped it. It got restarted somehow by accident. They called in this week. It was like, hey, I got your postcard, looking to sell my house now. Now.
Well, you got to understand. So I talk about this a lot. You may see. Imagine that window is moving all the time, up and down, left and right. And you are a person that is trying to get the rock through that window. And that rock is that postcard, that phone call. And you're throwing it every day, but it's moving. And eventually, the opportunity lines up and it goes through. And that person calls you. Now that opportunity they may be an absentee landlord. And they may have just went through an eviction. That 2 days before you sent them the postcard or whatever it is. So that opportunity lines up with people. The guy that I was talking to yesterday, he didn't want to put his dad in a nursing home. He wanted to get rid of the property and have money to move his dad somewhere else. That's the opportunity. So that was on a cold call. We literally were just cold calling people. So when you say how many times you're going to follow up as many times as you need to make the deal work. I know sometimes it's daunting, but I'm telling you that time it comes through, you're going to be like, but it works.
Are there
We had one guy over there.
Quick question, in terms of Deal Machine, does it automatically export the files into like an Excel or?
You can go to the website and then download and export it into a CSV file.
All right, can I ask one more question?
Yeah.
In terms of determining a hot market, what do you use to determine whether a market is hot enough?
It was determined based on what's happening in that market. Boston, if you live here, you know it's a hot market, and we have some huge investors that are actually here. The prices are typically astronomical. So
Low
right
inventory.
now, a lot of people who may not know, almost every property in Boston can be valued at $1 million. So that's a hot market. So if you get a property there at the right price, my husband and I got one here that we'd never seen, never stepped foot on it, and we made 6 figures on wholesaling it. That's a hot market because you get it at a certain price point. You can sell almost anything here as long as you get it at a right price and if you want to wholesale it. And if you don't want to wholesale it, there are a ton of landlords. I know Josue Belnea is somewhere here. He's one of them. He's a landlord. He buys and holds properties. So landlords pay typically a little bit more than what a wholesaler or flipper can pay. So just know when you're taking these properties down, who your end buyer is going to be. That's what determines a hot market for us. What's the price point? But anywhere can be hot. It's just if we can get a property here and make $100,000, I think we can pay you a little bit more for bringing it to us versus one that we're only gonna make maybe $2,000, $8,000.
Probably, not sure though. Probably.
Right.
I cut somebody off. I'm
yeah.
sorry.
Are there any websites to get the value of the house, like what they call? I don't even know how much the houses work. What
Yeah,
websites?
websites, you have Total View Real Estate, totalviewrealestate.com. Of course, you got Zillow, you got Trulier, you got Redfin. So what I typically do is I'll plug in the address, I'll hit Google search, and you have like 8 websites pop up that give you a value. Zillow may say it's worth $600,000. Trulier may say it's worth $630,000. Redfin may say it's worth $680,000. And I'll take the average of those 3. It's like, okay, that's the ballpark of maybe it's worth around $625,000. And I'll kind of use that as my starting point.
And then you can always get a realtor on your team, which we do. I think ours is here, which is also like a partner.
Yeah, one of our
ours
acquisitions
in
managers,
Jersey.
Jamal's here.
Right here, if you need someone, as long as he's not doing something for us.
The reason why it's you don't have to be exact on the price of the property. A lot of people inflate it for their own brain reasons. Like, oh, I got a property under contract is worth $300,000. No, it's not. No, it's not. Not at all. But if you do what he says and you get an average on a disclosure state. So you have some states that disclose every sale and every transfer is public information. And then you have other states, but I believe Texas is not a disclosure state. So that means they don't get Zillow doesn't get the data that Boston or North Carolina would get, because in our place, every time property is transferred, it's public information.
It's public.
That number is put there, so with all that information, Zillow can give you a better accuracy because they have an algorithm. So I'm not saying rely on Zillow for your things, but you want to be in the ballpark, because where you're purchasing the property, the ARV is here, you should be way down here. That's just how it works. And sometimes the ARV may say this, like, for example, you guys know better than I do, but in the markets like Boston, you might have something that can be a 3 and it's currently a 2-plex, and it could be a 3-plex, and you see the value add, so it may be worth 600, but you know it's worth 800. You start your negotiation at 6.
Yeah.
You just built in a $200,000 cushion.
Yep, which we've done.
Listen, every 3-family in Boston, the ARV is over $1 million. I don't care if it's Dorchester, Roxbury, Mattapan. If you go in there and put $300,000 into it, $100,000 per floor, and you sell as condos, it's going to sell for $300 to $500 per floor. So if you can get that property for $500,000-$600,000, you can flip it for $50,000, $100,000 assignment fee. So just know that anyone in the Boston market, those 3 families are gold mines.
So I'd like to go way back. I
Way
stumbled
back.
way back to something about hitting a screwdriver into a Volkswagen Jetta.
Yeah, it was a hammer.
Starter. So I stumbled across your website actually a week ago today,
Awesome.
and only to find out, fast forward to the March event, well, a couple weeks in Texas, only to find out that Dedric and his wife were on as speakers, and myself and Dedric's grandmother were business partners several years ago when I was selling in her living room. So the law of attraction is real in this case. So I really would like to know what was your mindset when you knew? I heard the story about hearing about wholesaling from your best friend's brother. You left the house, locked yourself in a room several weeks.
Yeah.
Where was your mindset?
I was at a place of rock bottom.
Rock
You know,
bottom.
30 years old, moving back in with my mother was not a place I wanted to be, especially when I was, somewhat doing okay before. I knew that something had to change, and I knew it wasn't my hustle. I was always a hustler. It was my mindset. And that's where I always tell people, I can tell you exactly what to do to go out there and make $3 million a year right now in this room. But if you don't have the computer chip, the program in your head to receive this information, you will not do anything with it. I literally started to think everything in abundance. Like, there's nothing I can't do.
What you say?
Like, really, there's nothing that I can't do. I used to, how many of you used to pray for a 6-figure job?
Right.
I used to be like, man, I want some, well, I'm from the South. Y'all get $20 an hour to do anything. So I used to, back in the days, you used to say, man, I don't want a 6-figure job and be okay. And then you literally start looking at, you change your circle, and you don't know, you know that 6 figures.
Yeah, 6 figures in Boston, you're middle class. I mean, it's so
At best.
expensive here.
At best.
Like, you're barely getting by.
So when I started changing who I hung around and my mindset and watching different things, I literally started thinking that it didn't make any sense, right? Now, if I don't do, I'll be honest, if I'm doing $100K a week, it don't make sense, right? So that's the mind shift change in just 2.5 years. And that's how you have to go back to just changing what's here. And once you change what's in between your ears, then you can receive, because all this information is out there for free.
Yep.
I learned
Literally.
it for free, and that's why I don't have a course to really, let me put this out. I don't have a course because I'm not a course type. I wouldn't learn from a course, essentially, right? But people do learn from courses. Some people do have to go through courses, so there are good courses out there. But you can kickstart this just from the YouTube, like most of you, that's how you got here. You can kickstart it, and then you see the opportunity to invest in yourself and take it to the next level, right? But a lot of people never educate themselves. Now, I spend $200,000 a year just in education, just on myself. Why? Because when you make X amount of dollars, it doesn't matter. So I pour that back into me, and that's how you should start doing it yourself.
Absolutely.
100%. So change your mindset. That's the biggest thing, is to change that. Anybody here can do this. If I can, 2 immigrant parents that come from Jamaica, that come to America, I'm a first-generation American, that barely passed high school to get to the point where I'm financially blessed and independent, anybody in this room can do it if you just believe that you actually can. I know it sounds corny, but it's
Good
real.
hand for that.
Actually, I just want to piggyback off of that with a question. So, like, I do understand also, like, you know, changing your mindset and stuff, you can change the direction of your life and all that type of stuff. But, like, is there anything, like, specific or any practice that, you know, that keep you on course? Because, like, sometimes, you know, like, I'm human, we're all human. Sometimes, you know, you might feel like you're making wind or something, and then, you know, life happens, and then, like, you're back doing old habits, or, you know, or with the, how do you keep your mindset, like, rejuvenated? Like,
everybody you have around you right now, cut them off.
Yep.
Association.
And if they
No
love
lie.
you, they understand.
Yep.
Cut them off. Everybody. Your biggest doubters are your family members and the people right next to you. Like, they don't understand. Like, they don't understand how somebody can leave a job that's paying them good money to go create their own thing. Right? It just it doesn't make sense. Like, so I hate to say it, but cut off everybody around you. They'll come back and you'll go back and get them. But if they love you, they'll understand that, yo, I need this. I need 3 months. Y'all leave me alone. And you just gonna change your mindset. Start doing things that make you feel uneasy.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like, walk into a cigar bar, buy a cigar, and just sit down and have a cup. Do something that you've never done before.
Yep.
Go chill at a bookstore. You would go play video games. Go chill at a bookstore for 2 hours. Just have a conversation with a regular stranger across the table. Start doing things that make you feel uncomfortable to change your circle.
I'm sorry, I'm not hogging.
Yeah.
So also, and within those 3 months or whatever period that you decide to kind of, like, you know, wean negativity out of your life, what would be like a starter's kit for somebody who has no experience as far as, like, wholesaling? Like, you know what I mean? Like, just certain apps or certain habits. Like, I get the whole driving.
So
thing.
what I would say is, once you cut everything off, I mean, cut sports off, turn rap music off, and no music,
Yep.
nothing. Every moment you have, and this is how you literally
filling your brain.
You literally listen to podcasts, watch videos,
Absolutely.
and start Googling stuff. And you do those 3 things, and cut everything off, and do those 3 things, you will become obsessed with this topic of wholesale.
That's what we did.
And to get more in line with what you're asking, so you're just starting, right?
Well, not even yet. Just
So what you would want to start with, go to YouTube and start looking at videos on how to start. Start going back with how to get your LLC. This is stuff real detailed and specific, things that you need to do. How to get your LLC, how to create a cash buyers list. Start watching just podcasts, videos, going to old YouTube, Facebook clips, and start looking at these things, because one of the videos that helped me was Max's, and it literally completely changed my world. Because I kept asking my husband, I said, listen, we need a VA, we need a VA, we need a VA.
Oh yeah, I remember that one.
And then, just so happened, I'm going to tell you this how God worked. Because I kept saying, we need a VA, we need a VA. And he
Virtual assistant.
which is a virtual assistant. And then I said, I just so happened, I got on YouTube and I watched one of his videos. And the first one that came up was, why you don't need a VA, something like that. And this is no lie. The video came up as soon as I opened my YouTube. The first thing that says was a video from him on why you don't need a VA. Then I said, damn, I gotta watch it. And I said, I believe in listening, even if I don't want to.
Other perspectives.
Right, and I said, I gotta hear it. And first thing he said is, you don't need a VA to do something that you won't do. You have to learn how to do it first in order to tell a VA how to do it or what you need done. You have to learn how to do it first. So then I went to my husband, I said, damn, we don't need a VA. So then, because what I wanted her to do, right, but what I wanted her to do was something that I was afraid of, which was cold calling. And I was deathly afraid of calling and hearing no, or get off my phone, and da-da-da. And let me tell you how God works. I made a phone call. I just quit, fired my boss. I was a weekend. I said, listen, just give me a week. That's all I need. I watched that video of his on, making calls and calling sellers. I forgot the name of it. My husband left, went to go pick the kids up. I got on the phone, and I literally cold called for the first time. I needed to get my bearings. And I needed to be by myself. So I literally called. First lady I called, we ended up getting an appointment. She kept me on the phone for about an hour, but I was okay. My nerves and stuff was like, okay, I can do this. Called the second person, didn't get him. Called the third person, ended up getting an appointment. At that point, I was geeked. My husband came through the door. I was like, yo. I was like, yo, guess what happened? But after that, it was like I was off and running.
Conquered
The
that
one
fear.
thing that I was afraid of is what it took me to change my mindset. Like he said, my husband gets on me all the time because from the moment he wakes up, he's listening to a podcast to the moment he goes to
In the
sleep.
shower.
Me too.
So
Using
he's
the
not
bathroom.
lying all day, every day. And then if you come home on the 70-inch screen, it's YouTube. To the point.
I built something in my shower so I can listen to podcasts.
Yep.
That's it.
You're
Lord,
filling
he
your
gonna have
brain.
that next.
Constantly
I don't
filling your
watch
brain.
news no more. I stopped watching news.
He don't either.
No music, no news, no sports.
We listen to you. Who we listening to?
But I'm giving you what I'm regurgitating what I'm doing.
Yep.
So I'm listening to people like Gary Vee. That's why I paid him $155,000 to come to the conference next week. Damn. So because he poured into me, and I'm trying to get y'all to see how valuable he was to me. So it's just like, that's why it makes sense to get so much from that.
Yep.
Yeah, like Max said, in the past year, we probably spent about $80,000 in our education and learning the specialized knowledge to do this business. So again, you got to invest in yourself. You may not start with $80,000, right? My wife was like, we need to hire a coach. I said, coach for what? To learn how to do this real estate thing. I said, how much is a coach?
He
She
wanted
was
to
like,
know the price on everything.
about $10,000. I was like, no, I'll figure it out. I'll go on YouTube and figure it out.
And
Yeah.
that's what you can do too. You can get your start, get your couple deals or two, and
Yep.
then scale up and get
Absolutely.
education.
Yeah, so we invested in a coach. I didn't have the cash to do it. I put it on a credit card, on a business credit card. I jumped out on faith. I'm like, I got to make this work. I got to pay this credit card back. But from that coaching, it started us on the journey, and we've made so much more.
Masterminds.
Yeah.
And on from there. One of our mentors, best mentor that money can buy, we met at his last conference in Charlotte. Was anybody in Charlotte there?
Yeah.
Yep.
Live.
Best. When I tell you this man, he's going to be speaking in Dallas. I literally, as soon as he came off, I stalked his wife. And when we left, I got a cell phone. This is how you got to be. You got to be hungry. I stalked. When we left, very next day, I texted her, hi, how are you? Good morning. Do you remember me? It's only been a day, so I know you do. Hey, remember you told me to give you a call? I hope this is not too early for you. And I literally text her every day until we had a meeting with Mr. Robinson, Mr. Tony Robinson, for any of you guys. You're not going to find him on YouTube. You ain't going to find him on any other social media outlets. This man is the epitome of where we're trying to get.
Correct.
And he's undercover. He does private coaching. So
Only if he likes you.
right,
You don't take nobody. Only if he likes you.
Yeah.
right.
The
So
question, Becca?
Can you be a real estate agent and be a wholesaler at the same time?
Heck yeah.
Absolutely.
We have Steve Trang that's going to be at the conference. And this is, so these questions and how you do it is how I built the conference, right? Like, I'll be honest, I ain't going to make no money at the conference. I know a lot of people want to count the bread that's coming in. It's expensive to put on a
Yes.
conference. I'm going to tell y'all
Yeah.
right now. Just the hotel and the rooms is $600,000, right? I told you Gary Vee was $155. So you can do the math.
Right.
But the reason why that question is a good question. So yes, there's a broker in Arizona that half of his business is wholesale and half of his business is traditional real estate. And he is the actual broker that all the new agents that become wholesalers come to his brokerage and do. So there's a very ethical way. Sometimes there's an advantage. In some states, I know in North Carolina, we can list our wholesale deals on the MLS, right? Just crazy, just brings it up. A lot of people don't know that. You can do it in Georgia. You can do it in Maryland. You can do it in a lot of states. You can list you can pay a flat fee listing company to list your deals. Absolutely. So being a realtor and a wholesaler, you can absolutely do that. All you have to do is disclose when you walk into the house that, hey, I'm a real estate agent, but I'm here in the capacity of an investor.
And that's it.
Okay.
But if we don't come with a deal, I can list it.
Right.
Does that change state to state?
I think every state you have to
Yeah,
disclose
it's pretty
who
much
you
the
are.
exact same. Because I'm going for my license actually next month, just because North Carolina, and then I'm gonna come to Boston. Yep, we get that Boston money too.
Huh?
We put on MLS as wholesaling, right?
No, it depends. So you could put a traditional wholesale deal on the MLS and just do an assignment, typical. What I consider a hotel is when I go in there, sometimes I'll take the property down, just clean it out, and then do it. Or you can still have the assignment, go on the property. You got to go in there and clean it out and do something different because it's a hybrid between wholesale and retail. It's called
Yeah, we just did a hotel deal 2 weeks ago. We bought a fire damaged duplex in North Carolina. We paid $8,700 for it. We didn't touch it. It was fire damaged. We put it on the MLS for $22,000. We got multiple offers. Sold it for $25,000 cash. Wow. We didn't touch it. That's wholesaling. Mr. Velnay.
Question. So what do you do when other wholesalers put signs in front of your house?
You take it down. That's no down.
Change one number on it.
No, he called one of our bandit signs. We have bandit signs around Boston. He texted like, "Hey, you got any deals?" I was gonna play with him, but I didn't do it.
How profitable are you guys right now? What profit margins are you looking for? You said $100,000 a week, but obviously
That's in all my businesses. That's not just in real estate. I'll be honest. I'm not gonna sit here and lie like most people do.
But even still, so are you good at a 20% profitability on that?
No,
30% profitability?
I run at 70.
70%.
Yeah.
Profit.
Yeah.
So a lot of virtual assistants on that.
I have 10 staff. I have 4 overseas, 6 real people in America. But it's just how you structure it.
Lean.
Like, yeah, we run very lean. Like I don't have a big, massive marketing budget either, like most people. I still run very lean. Like I call myself the hacker of leads. Like I make do. I can pull one list, and we curate a lot of our own lists through the county, and that's how so those leads cost us 0, except for an employee that may be like $12 an hour.
And the same for you guys? Roughly around 70%.
About 50% margins. You know, Max is Jamaican, so you know they hustlers. But you know.
7 jobs.
This gentleman right here.
I have a really quick question. If you work like in different towns, or if you're like an Uber driver, and you're starting off driving for dollars,
Where everybody should start is, by the way.
Yep.
okay. My question would be like, I'm big into focusing your energy, right? Would you focus just in your town, like that you live in after work, or because like the point is like if you're all over the place, would you say it's okay to drive different towns and stuff like that?
Yeah.
Like before work or after work?
I personally, and this is preference, right? I personally would stick in your backyard. One is you're there, and one is you need to be, and wouldn't you want to be the king of your own backyard? Like if you could sell everything in a 10-block radius, you know what I mean? Like you know that market, and that's where you become hyper-focused, because I might go to an appointment in your backyard, and I might think the highest I can buy is for $550, but you know the market, and you know the buyers there, and you know you can go to $625. Well, who's gonna win that deal? Usually you. So just being hyper-focused versus here, there, and then once you get real good, start going out.
Now, if you're in Boston's market, that doesn't mean start in Dorchester and forget Roxbury and Mattapan. That means if you're like in Boston, do anywhere in Boston versus
Where are you at?
So I'm in Malden.
Okay.
So you're
Then do
telling me
Malden.
To maybe go like Somerville, that's 15 minutes away or something like
However the distance that you're comfortable with driving with. So with us, typically, well, we're virtual, so we do deals all over. But when I telling people to start 30 minutes drive, tops, somewhere that you can get to, you know that area. So if you're in Malden, I would say, what's right beside Malden?
Somerville,
Bedford. I wouldn't go any further than that area.
Because you want to make it so that you can consistently do it. It's
Exactly.
not out of your way.
Okay.
Yep.
Thank you.
Go. Yep.
So, what's your favorite lead strategy?
For us, it would be driving for dollars.
Deal machine driving
Deal
for dollars.
machine. That's just because we've
Got so
made
many
a
deals
killing.
from it.
and we're still making a killing. Matter of fact, I just had 3 pop up on my phone.
They virtually have people driving for them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They said they have 40 people across the country.
Yeah.
My answer is, y'all know my answer.
Hopefully.
Y'all know my answer?
Wait, no.
Consistency,
Yep.
bro.
Consistency.
That's my favorite lead source. I can literally take any lead source that you ever know, and if I dial in and drive on and dial in on it, I can get more deals out of it because it's the consistency of it. I don't care if it's absentee, waterless, divorce. I don't care what it is. I will get deals from it because I'll be consistent at it. Right? There's no like magic thing, because I know people that they do well on Drive for Dollars. I know people that do very well mailing everything. I know people that only do cold calling on this type of lead. So it's just, I know people that crush it with RVMs. They're just very consistent.
Committed. You got to be
Yeah.
committed to do it for a year straight, 6 months straight.
Huh?
What does your consistency?
So before I got anything, I used to call 200 people myself every day before I had anybody working for me. I used to call 100 in the morning. I used to go on appointments between 12 and 2, and I used to come back and call another 100 before it got too late.
That's
Every day.
consistency.
Every single day. And that's how I got to make $30,000, $40,000 every single month. And then I hired a virtual assistant. So I just did it every day. It was like, yo, I have a studio. I still have the same studio condo. I had a desk in there and a whiteboard. And I literally would, on my iPhone, nothing special, iPhone into my headset, dial, 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 dial. And I would have all my leads on the Excel sheet, and it would go red, yellow, green. Red, I didn't reach them. Yellow, I got a voicemail. Green, I talked to them, and I would color code them every day. And I would go from tab to tab to tab. And then when that tab done, I would go back over, go tab, 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 go over and just do it over and over again. That's the consistency. Because I was eating ramen. I had to.
In regards to virtual wholesaling, what would you say the key is to virtual wholesaling?
Boots on the ground. So
What does
you
that mean?
need, no matter what market you're in, you want to have someone on the ground to be able to reach these people. That's what is the key to actually being virtual. And then also, I mean, knowing the market, we got 4 units in Ohio, and we went there, flew there, and flew back and bought a unit, and we didn't know anything about it. But knowing the market is a little bit, but you can do research on markets. If you're trying to move into that territory heavy, then you want to have people who can reach out and go to these houses if need be. Boston, we don't ever have to come here. We have boots on the ground, plus we also know the market. So we did that whole 6-figure deal here, never seeing a property, never touching, stepping foot. Everything was done over the phone.
So are these boots your family members, colleagues?
I have in Schenectady. I have a realtor for $80 who go take pictures and do my damage report for any property. $80 a pop.
Who's ours, Dedric?
What's that?
Boston. She likes our boots on the ground.
I mean, we have Mr. Adrian right here.
here.
Jamal Adrian's a good friend of ours. He's a
also
realtor.
a
He's
realtor,
an investor.
An investor.
Several realtors we work with in the area.
He
People
knows
take
this
pictures.
market. Right.
Every realtor's not rich. I promise y'all.
Look, and I'm gonna tell you. I'm sorry. If
They
we
willing
can't
to
reach him, we will call Joe Sway. We'll call On. We'll call
Dion.
Dion. Boots on the ground.
They want to work too. They want to make some money
And
too.
all of them are in real estate. All of them are landlords. Find someone you like. Yo, like he said, you want to make some money? Go take some pictures for me real quick.
Heck yeah, they gonna go.